Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry. Clearly, I am all put together. Well, that's a good sign. Sorry. Getting that ready. Check, we're all good now. Alright. So, we are back, obviously, with some Fruit of Grisaia. Not too much of consequence happened the last time we played through. It was mostly just Yuji teaching Makina how to shoot. Yeah, that's a thing, and trying to actually make a legitimate shooting club. So that's a thing. Shockingly, Makina actually has a knack for it. That's about all of the of a recap we get. They went shooting in the school courtyard. He bought her a fucking gun. He literally bought her like an air rifle. Yeah, so that's a thing. A quick kind of like little updates here and there for stream. Well, mostly an announcement, really. So tomorrow is going to be, I'm going to have my birthday stream. My actual birthday is Sunday, but just because of, I don't want to actually do streaming or anything other than just birthday stuff on my birthday, I'm just going to be taking that day off. I'm working all day Saturday, so tomorrow's the only day I can do it. Hey Katie, how's it going? Welcome in. Thank you. Yeah, so tomorrow at my normal start time, 10 a.m., I'll be having my birthday stream. What I decided to do for it, is a Pokemon randomizer. I did somewhat of a Nuzlocke last year, but I figure instead of just trying to continue on with that, we'll start something new and do something I've actually been kind of interested in, which is a Pokemon randomizer. So, yeah. Random Pokemon will just appear. I could have a good starter, like, I don't know, a legendary, or I could end up just having a Magikarp. I could be walking along, it's like, oh hey, this trainer has a Mewtwo, or he just has a Magikarp. Who knows? So that's what I look forward to for tomorrow. Doing good? Good. I'm glad. I'm doing okay. I'm doing alright. Just packing up for a move. Like, ugh, that's coming up very soon. Like, less than 2 weeks at this point. Just uprooting everything and going. But most of my stuff is packed. At this point, it's just clothes, bathroom, and computer that need to be packed, which computer will be packed up a little later. Excited about moving? Yeah, I am excited because it's going to be something new. A much quieter city than where I am now. Everything be a lot more kind of just chill and relaxed. It is going to suck because I'm leaving all of my actual IRL friends. But I mean, I'm still going to be able to talk to them. I mean, I mostly talk to them through Discord anyway, just because, you know, we're all busy adults with lives. I just won't be able to see them nearly as easily now, which, I mean, there's ways around it. I can always come by and visit anyway. So, I got ways to do that. So it's all gonna be fine. It's all going to be good. But it'll be a nice, just kind of, essentially fresh start. I'm moving out of my hometown. So, yeah, like, at the age of 30, out of my hometown. Get to really experience something new. Very new. and just kind of take it as it is. It's gotta be good for me. It's definitely gonna be good for me. Everything's already pretty much set up there, especially internet-wise, so I will still be able to stream while I'm there. We got internet that's just as fast and accessible as what I have now, so... In fact, we looked at they were just talking about it now, if we wanted to up it. Because they apparently provided some different package that has more upload speed, but like... It's like, I felt like it was overkill. It's like, no, I think what we're getting is fine. What we're getting up there is essentially what we have now, and I'm cool with that. We don't need to go above and beyond. Yeah, we don't need to go above and beyond. I don't really see a point. What we got is good. It's what I've been using for, you know, basically the 2 years I've been on the platform. Had my ups and downs, but pretty much figured out where we're at right now, finally. Everything has been running really, really smoothly. Hell, I think maybe even when I get up there, I might push my good old bit rate up a little more. Tiny bit more. I mean, I currently have it trying to sit around 4K. You know, 4,000 kilobytes, I mean, so 4 megabytes per second. I might try and up that a little bit. Just to see. I want to see where my boundaries are here. I gotta see, what is actually my upper limit? I mean, hell, God, y'all know at this point, for the longest time, I was running at 2,000 kilobytes per second. That's what I was always running my streams at. It worked. I got affiliate with that. But I've been slowly upping that as time goes on, and it has been, actually, it has been the most stable now than it has ever been. I can open Google Chrome and look at stuff without it tanking completely. I don't know why it was tanking completely before all those other times. Actually, I kind of know. I was on Wi-Fi. I mean, I'm technically still not on an actual hardline connection. I am using a power line for stuff, which is still good. It's worked out incredibly well for me. I've had such stable connections now, thanks to it. Especially compared to Wi-Fi. No random drops or nothing like that. So yeah, if you want something that might be a little more stable than Wi-Fi, but you can't actually afford to run the full-on Ethernet cable, Powerline might be an option. Powerline might be an option for everyone. So you just using your house's electrical wires as a substitute Ethernet cable. Plug one thing into your modem, plug that into the wall, plug another adapter into the wall, then run the rest of the cable to your computer. It's been working fine. I have had 0 issues. I think some providers will actually give you Powerline adapters, if you pay extra, obviously. If you want to go that route, at least the one we're going with now, they actually had that as an option. Well, joke's on them. We don't need it, because I already got a set of adapters. I also have a really long Ethernet cord going to this computer to my first adapter. Like, I mean long. Because it was the only one we had that could potentially reach, and it's... oh boy. Most of it is sitting underneath the desk. It's huge. It's a massive cord. But whatever, it works. Does what it needs to do. I'm happy for it. About it. It's 10 a.m. Give me a break, guys. When can I ever speak clearly? Never. Alright. Oh yeah, we're going to be continuing with Grisaia. Where this is going to take us, I don't know. I never know. I never know where this game is going to take us. Sometimes it's wholesome, sometimes it's not so wholesome, sometimes it goes a little 18 plus in the sexual way, sometimes it goes 18 plus in the whole wow, this became a horror kind of way. It all depends on what the game feels like at the moment. So yeah, let's see where, let's just see where this goes now. We have just finished essentially shooting practice. Yeah, Yuji's teaching Makina how to shoot an air rifle, and is wanting to make it an actual, like, club at the school? Of all things. You do you. It's something you're good at, and I guess kind of like, so why not? Why not make it an official thing? If you can.
Makina, あんた晩ご飯食べ終わったんならさっさとお風呂入っちゃいな。私も後からすぐに行くから先に行ってなさいな。日焼けした。顔面と肩がめっさ痛いのよさ。
How did you get sunburnt?
日焼け止めもしないで一日中外で遊んでるからでしょうが。
Yeah, wear your sunscreen, folks. I talked to the guy that gave himself second-degree burns. Yeah, not even just not just a sunburn, straight up second-degree burns. Yeah, that was not pleasant. On my shoulders too, of all things. Try sleeping and moving with that. I know I've mentioned that on stream a few times that it has happened, that I did that to myself. Yeah, ow. Aloe could only help so much. That was not good. It hurt. It was definitely... Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure they were second-degree burns. It was beyond a sunburn. My skin was not just red. Yeah, they were red, and they were blistering, and they hurt. It was bad. Yeah, so I essentially had, yeah, I definitely, like I said, had second degree there. And that was just from being out in the sun, enjoying an outdoor spa. Like, I was so good that whole day, and then it was after when we got inside, I started feeling really weird. And then getting into the shower the next day, it's like, oh, that doesn't feel right. Oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, yeah, sleeping was a mega pain. Aloe barely helped. It took the edge off, but... And that was the edge off of, I don't know. It's like taking the edge off of a bat. It's still gonna hurt. And that there wasn't really much of an edge to begin with. It just hurt. I couldn't go like this. Just raising my arms hurt. Turning hurt. Everything hurt. I was sleeping on a couch, so not a lot of give for that, so... And I like sleeping on my side, too, so... Yeah, that was not helpful. I survived, though. Went through an entire wedding with that. Oh, man. So yeah, moral of the story, wear sunblock if you're going to be outside all day. Especially if your shoulders are uncovered. Wear sunblock. Wear sunblock. Don't think like, ah, no, it's fine. I never get burned. Wear sunblock. It's only gonna get worse the older you get. I mean, look at Hugh Jackman or Huge Jackman. The man has had like skin cancer how many times at this point? I think just from being out in the sun. Okay, definitely not from just being out in the sun, but I mean, regardless, that's a man who's had it a lot in general. I don't know. I don't know where we're going with that. It's just the older you get, the more the shit'll happen. I mean, how old is he at this point? And he's like had a few scares of that, I believe. 54 years old, and he's had a few scares. Yeah, older you get, the more that stuff will crop up. And it'll crop up a lot easier and stick around a lot longer because... yeah, that's just how it works. Your body doesn't exactly, can't exactly do the same things it could do in your absolute prime. Yeah. I think I'm getting to that point pretty soon. I'm definitely well past my prime. I don't even think I ever hit a prime. I don't know. So yeah, take care of yourselves, folks. Wear your sunscreen. Do all the stuff you need to do. Don't take unnecessary risks. Protect your back. Protect your knees. You kind of need those. You kind of need your knees, so don't be doing anything crazy. Don't be jumping off of, you know, buildings and landing just on your feet and hoping your knees will absorb the impact. They will for a little bit. After a while, it's not going to go great. I can barely jump down like the second set of stairs without feeling I'm hurt now. Yeah, random tangent. That's something I've, like, almost always done. If I'm going down a set of stairs, I'll just kind of jump off from, like, the second stair from the bottom. I don't know why. That's just something I have always done. I can't explain it. That's just something I kind of do. I've kind of stopped doing that a little more now, just because... yeah, knees. Yeah, my current job is just, you know, not helping things, with me having to kneel in front of things a lot. Generally for extended periods of time, depending on what I'm doing. Yeah. So I guess that's one plus side to moving. I won't have to be doing that as much now. So... I maybe saved these for another year or two. I really probably should get them checked out at some point just to see where they're at. They're probably not in the greatest shape, but they're still working. I'm still standing. And if I am anything, I am stubborn and persistent. So even if they hurt like hell, I'll still move. That's just me. Don't be like me. That's your PSA. Don't be like me. Don't be like me and do stupid things. Don't be super stubborn. Yeah, okay. Random tangent over, I guess, I suppose. For now. You know me, I go on tangents. About literally everything. I mean, what was it? The other day, we were, like, on, like, for, like, 40 minutes, we were talking about... I can't even remember. We were talking about something. We just kept going and just having a genuine conversation. It's like, oh yeah, we were playing a game, weren't we? It was like, oh, so at that point, I should have just shut the game off and just turned it into a full-on just chatting. You're just having, you know, good old conversation. Now, don't you find that sometimes, just in general? whether you stream or not, or if you're doing something with friends, like if you plan to go do something with friends, like say watch a movie or play a board game, you guys will get kind of stuck. Not really stuck. You just kind of get into a rhythm. You just start talking and talking and talking, and then suddenly it's like, oh wait, like, how has like 2 hours gone by? All we've done is talk. We didn't even do what we meant to do here. You just totally lose track of time. You just get so comfortable just chatting away. Which is like just great. I like when that happens. I like when I just kind of forget about things, get lost in a conversation. Nothing really matters other than what the two of us or three of us or how many of us there are saying at that moment. We're just in our nice own little world. I really do like those moments. Especially when someone brings up like some kind of real kind of big brain teaser of a question about something or just some kind of idea, and it really makes you start thinking. Like, you really sit there and like, huh, wait. Like, again, total random aside, I believe it was... pretty sure it was Jen that brought it up the one time ago about what if people laid eggs instead of, like, you know, live birth pregnancy stuff. Actually, that should be sat here on stream and like the kind of thinking about it. It's like, that would like, if people laid eggs, that would like literally change our entire biology. We probably wouldn't need half the stuff we have. I mean, 100% changes how reproduction works. There wouldn't be, technically wouldn't be any, you know, as we know now, intercourse. It would just be like fertilization of egg. Like there's a lot that you gotta think about. Like straight up anatomy would have to change in order to make for a human to be laying eggs. I cannot remember how that happened. I cannot remember why she brought it up. But it happened, and I literally sat here and was thinking seriously about it. It's those little things right there. One thing just kind of catches your interest, and you're just stuck thinking about it for a bit. It's like, wait a minute. How does this work? Logistically speaking. Like, in actual, like, how will this work? I really should change my banner now. Not to come for the games, stay for the laughs. Come for the games, stay for the stupid psychological ponderings. Or philosophical ponderings, I don't know. It's always something crazy. I never know what to expect at every stream. It could just be a straightforward, I play a game, have a little bit of chatting. Other times, I'm talking about, I don't know, the creation of the universe. I don't know, maybe we're all on the back of a giant sea turtle. Or we take the Men in Black approach and it's like, actually, no, our entire universe is just a marble being played with by gigantic aliens. Which, that's a... oof. Men in Black is weird, in a good way. How those endings always show something weird like that. So yeah, let me open this door. Oh yeah, our entire building, and presumably our entire... most of our existence is just in a locker of another larger world. And again, the entire universe was just one marble in a giant game of marbles being played by other aliens. It's like, what is even happening? Yeah. Everything you see is sometimes not what you believe. What you should believe, I don't know. I don't know. Here I am talking about the endings of Men in Black with this cheery music. Okay, my headset has to be charged by now. It better be. Green light, we good. I left this thing to be charged after stream last time when it was dying. I turned it on today and the light was blinking red. Like, are you kidding me? I had you plugged in for so long and you've been off for like 2 days. How are you already dead? Like, technology. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely do love this headset. I don't know why I never thought of getting a wireless headset sooner. I don't know why I never thought of that. It's so very convenient. I'm not entangled in wires. The mic is nice. I mean, it's not the greatest sounding mic, but it's good in a pinch. I used it for a little while. Now it's here to just, you know, kind of... It's there to just be there. Anyway, I think I should play a game. Because I'm here to play a game.
だって日焼け止めしても汗ですぐ流れちゃうんだものよ。楽しかった？ああ、こうさ楽しかった。
Wicked sick uber fun. Okay.
ごっさか。そりゃかなり楽しかったみたいね。何して遊んだの？
Were they still shooting? Oh, yeah. We can't let her know that we're shooting air rifles right now. Why? Because... I don't know. Probably just because they don't know how she would take it immediately? I don't know. Amane is very scary when she wants to be scary. Granted, we've seen her... We've already done her route and seen her everything, so yeah, I can see why she'd want to be protective of people. After what happened.
うわっぶね、誘導尋問に引っかかるところだったのよさ。イリスマキナ、美浜学園所属、学籍番号4番、1月13日生まれ。
Oh, great. She's doing the thing that POWs are technically supposed to do, only give out, like, very specific information, like your name, rank, and serial number. That's apparently what captured soldiers are supposed to do while being interrogated. Those are the only pieces of information they are supposed to give out when they're being interrogated or tortured, depending.
Huh? 何？どうしたの急に？敵の捕虜になったら名前と認識番号と生まれた日しか教えちゃいけないんだってパパが言ってた。
Name, ID, date of birth.
捕虜ってね、別に拷問してまで聞き出そうとは思ってないわよ。いいから。うーい、了解。まったく。いけねえ。アヒル持ってくの忘れるとこだったのよさ。ああ、もうアヒルはいいけど他にはおもちゃを持ってっちゃダメよ。ういーす。まったく元気なのはいいんだけどさ。さてと、それじゃあ早速マキナの日記でもっと。
Stop peeking in people's diaries.
あれ？ あの子、日記帳どこにしまったのよ。さっき書いてたんだから、そんなに奥にはしまい込んでないわよね。
Did she take it with her?
ただもう、またこんなところに脱ぎ散らかした靴下しまい込んで。一度履いたらちゃんと洗濯に出せっての、もう。つーか、日記帳はどこよ、もう。お、あったあった、これこれ。なになに、本日の日付はと、あったあった、どれどれ。
You do not know privacy.
今日はパパと一緒にプリンキングごっこをして遊んだ。ゲロッサ楽しかった。
Purin King?
ゲロッサ、まあきっとメッサの最上級のことなんだろうけど、それより何これ、これがプリンキング？
Now I'm confused. I don't know. At least we learned last time when she put Trayton in her thing, it was supposed to be using a training Tonto. Yeah, I didn't want her finding out also that they're, you know, playing with swords. For practical purposes, for self-defense and stuff. So, I don't know, Purin King is probably something to do with the gun, I don't know.
わしがプリンの王様、プリンキングじゃって。
Really? Now I want pudding.
もう何よこれ。モギタンの次はプリンキング？
Now I remember Yuji trying to make up Trayton as some kind of children's programming thing. Oh, man.
っていうか、なんだかもうほんと全然意味がわかんない。あの子は一体ユージと一緒に何してんだろう。
Oh, you know, the normal thing. Just, shooting air rifles, practicing with some, swords, all the normal things. Even some, self-defense, where he's literally pushing her around, putting her into holds and throwing her. You know, the normal things that a quote-unquote father-daughter duo do. I still can't believe we're going along with that. I think it was better when we just considered her she just considered us an Oni-chan. Now we're fucking Papa. Oh lord. Trayton and Purin King were the best of friends. They spent many carefree days playing together in a deep dark forest rumored to be haunted by goblins. Oh, come on! I gotta bring Tuna Fish Man into this? One day, Tuna Fish Man abruptly appeared before them. While vigorously disemboweling himself with a gleaming knife, he spoke thus. Toro! Seems Amane was tormented by this remarkably surreal dream, ultimately leaping to her feet yelling, "What the hell now?" to no one in particular. A sad tale, although I fail to see why she can complain to me the next morning. Elderly people are fond of the phrase, experience as much as you can while you're young, but it's apparently somewhat rare for youngsters to genuinely understand those words. True. I'm something of a special case. I've seen much more than most people my age. Hell, I think I'm on the world-weary side of things. But even so, sometimes a small discovery or brief comment will completely overturn what I thought I knew. Experience is the most valuable form of knowledge, the survivor's greatest prize. Repeatedly experiencing something until you know it inside and out is worthwhile. So is seeking out new experiences and widening your horizons. I feel like we've read this before. This is very familiar. And this time, Makina opted for the latter. I don't think it's anything more complicated than that.
Ne, Makina, 本当に行かないの? 今年はパパと一緒に過ごすのよさ。
Oh, she's not gonna go back to Kyoto with Mane this time. Okay. Just this morning, Makina declared that she would be spending her summer vacation in the dorm, rather than accompanying Amane to Kyoto for the second time. Apparently, this last-moment change of plans was announced just as Amane was preparing breakfast today, and came as such a shock that the girl dropped her kitchen knife to the floor dramatically.
何度も聞くようだけど、なんで？こんなのと一緒にいたって楽しくないでしょ?
Can you not call me a thing to my face? At the very least, try not to point for emphasis. You managed to bruise my feelings a bit.
まあ、パパと一緒にいたいってのが一番の理由なんだけど、他にもアルバイトとかあるし、リンゴの苗の水やりとか、ザリガニの世話とかもあるしな。
Well, look at that. She's being responsible.
京都は去年経験したので、今年はパパと初めての夏を過ごします。大丈夫なのかな。あんたご飯とかどうするの?
You know Yuji can cook too, right? I mean, probably not anything fancy like you, but he can at least cook something she can live off of.
大丈夫。パン焼きマシーンもあるし、パン食べ放題なのよ。
Okay, you cannot live on just bread. I mean, bread is good, not gonna lie. When it comes to big dinners anywhere that have, you know, dinner rolls, whether at a buffet or at the table, I will go for the dinner rolls a lot of the time. Almost any chance I get. I love dinner rolls. I love them so much. Cut them in half, put some butter in between, and we in business. Soups, give me some rolls. Don't care. Chili, give me some dinner rolls. I love dinner rolls. Absolutely love dinner rolls. I do like my bread as much as another person, but I know I cannot survive solely off of bread. I mean, you probably could survive off of just bread, but you won't exactly be in the best state. Gotta have, you know, more stuff in there. Bread only gives you so much. I.e., not all the nutrients you need.
パンだけじゃダメでしょ。ちゃんと栄養も考えないと。何か日持ちするおかずでも作ってから行こうかしら。
It'll be fine. I'm gonna take care of the cooking.
つうか、あんた料理できんの？なんか豆ばっかり食ってるイメージが。
What's wrong with beans? Not to worry, I'll get some pumpkins in there as well. Human being won't die as long as they've got beans and pumpkins to eat.
あとパンもな。あ、かぼちゃパンでも焼いてみる？やべ、うまそうじゃね？
Yeah, this game has apparently taught me pumpkin is packed full of like nutrients and stuff. It's like an actual superfood. So yeah, if you want to make sure you're getting a lot of nutrients you need, add some pumpkin. Okay, yeah. There you go. Get pumpkin, folks. Make a pumpkin soup or something.
なんか心配。マキナが行かないなら
Oh.
私も行くのやめようかな。
Go see your family.
心配すんなって。割と何でも器用にやってみせるから大丈夫なのよさ。行ってくるがいい。そしてお土産は生じゃないやつし買ってきて。お抹茶味のやつ。
Some Yatsuhashi cracknels. Oh. With extra. Oh, how does it have extra crack?
あんた本当に硬いもの好きよね。
I'm a traditionalist myself. Give me some of the default cinnamon flavored ones.
わかったわよ。ちゃんとお土産買ってくるから、マキナはちゃんと宿題やるのよ。ユージはちゃんとマキナに宿題やらせるのよ。
Or what? What are you gonna do? You're literally a non-threat to him. Yes.
わかってんのかな。私がいなくなっても遊んでばっかりいちゃダメなんだからね。いなくなるって言っちゃやだよ。ママね、ちゃんと帰ってくるのよ。帰ってこなかったらアマネがどこへ行っても必ず探し出して迎えに行くからね。ストーカーみたいなこと言わないの。ちゃんと帰ってくるからね。
No need to drag out the farewells then. The Yokohama Shinkansen leaves at 8:50, right? You're gonna miss the train unless you get a move on.
じゃあ行ってくるね。
Very well. Makina, we will now send off Amane on her journey to the capital with 3 hearty cheers.
やめてよ、恥ずかしいじゃない。
Well, then mission accomplished. And so, Amane finally turns and runs up the stairs toward the station's ticket gate, fleeing our largely meaningless farewell salute. While I certainly appreciated the value of Amane's contribution to our well-being, I assumed her temporary absence wouldn't have any particularly serious effects on our lives. To be honest, that casual attitude was partly the product of stubborn pride. I got along just fine by myself before, didn't I? But once the woman was actually gone, it didn't take 30 minutes for the first problems to begin surfacing. Oh, what happened? Hey, Makina. How old are the eggs in this fridge? And here I was earlier talking about the time I thought about humans laying eggs. How appropriate. I'd hope not.
2、3日で腐るものでもないし、アマネはいっつも奥に新しい卵を入れるから、手前から使ってきゃオッケーじゃ
ね。I see.
それよりおトイレの紙がもうなくなりそうだけど、替えはどこにあんのよさ。
Where was it again? I do remember buying her some, so we should have plenty in stock.
アマネは何でもしまっちゃう女だから、きっとどっかにしまい込んでるのよさ。
Like where? I don't see anywhere to hoard things in this room.
階段の下かも。ほら、この部屋の向かいにある階段の下の小部屋。別名、アマネ倉庫。
Amane Warehouse. Amane Warehouse?
アマネはティッシュとかトイレットペーパーとか缶詰とかスーパーで安売りしてるととりあえず買ってアマネ倉庫に放り込んでおく癖があんのよさ。
So we're just gonna raid her little, stockpile.
ペットボトルのお水とかも50リットルぐらいしまい込んでるのよ。
This place is stocked. Sounds like a pretty decent little emergency stockpile.
基本的に貧乏症なのよさ。クッキーの箱の包装紙とかリボンとかまで取っておくタイプな。お、貧乏症で思い出した。
What did you just remember? Once again, the sound design in this is great. Makina promptly sticks her head into the fridge and starts rooting around in search of something.
あったあった。これこれ。
What's that supposed to be? The semi-transparent Tupperware container in Makina's hand is stuffed to the brim with a yellowish powdery substance. Chicken stock?
ほら、前にアマネーがかぼちゃのスープ作ったでしょ。
Oh.
これはジューサーで絞ったかぼちゃの絞りかすなのよさ。
Okay. Seriously? Who bothers to save that stuff?
そんなものとは何ですか。かぼちゃは皮の部分が一番栄養があるのよ。それを捨てるなんてとんでもない。
I see. My apologies. But what are you planning to use it for?
もちろんパン生地に練り込んでかぼちゃパンを作ります。お昼はこれにしようぜ。
Okay then, pumpkin bread.
あとさっきの八つ橋の話で思いついたんだけど、シナモンロールも作ろう。
I see. Talking about Yatsuhashi got you in the mood for something with cinnamon?
そういうことな。じゃあ早速パン生地を。
This is gonna go terribly, isn't it? Hold on, Makina. Take a look at the clock.
おお、9時な。そろそろアマネーは新幹線乗った頃かしら。
Mayhaps yourself. Look at the other wall.
レフト、ライト、ジャッカス。
Wrong. I point to a large piece of paper hanging on the wall. The words Summer Vacation Schedule scrawled across the top in Makina's handwriting.
なんだスケジュールってのは新種の羊毛？
Oh my. Playing dumb isn't much good when you're the one who wrote the damn thing. 9 in the morning is homework time, right?
宿題っつってもアマネーが勝手にやっときなさいって言ってるだけで、別に学校で出た宿題じゃないのよ。
Well, it's on your schedule that you wrote, so guess what? We're doing it. Oh my god. True enough! Anamani's not around, so I guess it's all good!
そうそう。
Are you seriously expecting me to say that? Idiot!
そげん怒らんでもよかろうもん。
If you're thinking I'm gonna be a soft touch compared to Amane, you got another thing coming. You decided the schedule yourself, so I want to see you at least pretending to follow it.
振りだけでいいの？
Not like you'll learn anything if I force you to study when you don't want to. But at the very least, make yourself sit in front of your desk at a set time every day and pretend to study. Once that becomes a habit, your brain will start waking up all on its own when the time comes. You'll be able to focus intently and get a great deal done in a short time.
本当に？
There's no point in trudging along through your textbooks for hours on end. 1 hour is just about right for a study session. Give it a try and you'll see.
なんかうまく騙されているような気がする。
Set aside a specific time every day for focused, undistracted study. I learned that simple technique from my big sister. Apart from her school subjects, she could constantly produce outstanding results in virtually anything with nothing more than an hour or so of daily review. And once I adopted her study method, I managed to maintain a fairly respectable academic standing in my own right. When you get used to studying in brief chunks, you naturally start challenging yourself, pushing to see how far you can get within the limited time you have. Sometimes, you'll look back after an hour's finished and be stunned at how much you accomplished. And so, starting off with a quintessentially Japanese, just for show attitude, Makina sits before her homework problems and pretends to ponder them. But as her style of pretending is pretty superficial, it amounts to little more than a childish parody of real studying. Her pen doesn't move an inch. And credit to the VAs throughout this whole thing. They make so many freaking noises. All these little grunts and stuff. Just moaning in a vaguely appropriate way doesn't really count, you know. At least try to use your head. Realizing that is step one. I mean, the world will be overflowing with geniuses if you get smarter with no effort, right? Guess it's all for the best, though. Not like a super high IQ does much but make life harder. Talking like you actually know something about this. Yeah, then you had severe trauma and ended up regressing. Sorry, just answering something quick. Right. Think I sort of know where you're coming from. People labeled prodigies and geniuses often come off as a little broken in the head. At what? Didn't you hear me? I kind of understand what you mean. I don't have first-hand experience, but my hyper-competent big sister fell into a similar category. Children labeled prodigies have their hands full just meeting the expectations of those around them, and their brilliance earns resentment and jealousy from peers. At best, they end up walled off by their own exceptional status. As my sister often said, once they've set you apart, you're left with a choice. You can struggle to stay the genius, or you can play the fool and become a clown. And come to think of it, it's easy to imagine that's where my sister chose the former option. Makina went for the latter. Oh, that where my sister chose the former option, Makina went for the latter, okay. Alright, so Kazuki decided to continue to be the genius, but Makina has become the clown, though not intentionally, because again, trauma and she regressed. Big time. She had to learn how to speak again. And everything. Lord almighty. How is this gonna get any worse? I know it's gonna get worse. It's Grisaia. It always gets worse before it gets better. You don't have to pretend to be an idiot around me, you know.
それはちょっと私を買いかぶりすぎなのよ。正直な話、バカのふりを続けるうちに自分でもどっちの自分が本当の自分なのかよくわかんなくなってきてるのよさ。パパはどっちの私がいい？
Guess I like you the way you are. Well, not that I want you to keep acting like a doofus, but there's a lot I like about you right now.
例えば？
Let's see. For example, the way you're earnest and proactive about everything. The way you never give up on something without even trying. These last few weeks, I've deliberately said some pretty absurd things to Makina. Made some unreasonable demands. Even so, the girl gives everything a try. She's eager to discover new things she can do, and willing to work hard at things she can't yet manage. And when she does succeed at a task she's struggled with, she comes running right over to me with her face full of pride, fishing for compliments. At the end of the day, the girl might just want my praise and respect. But it hardly matters why, does it? When I pat her on the head and say, "You did well," and see her squint like a contented kitten, mysteriously enough, I find myself thinking, alright, what should I teach her next? Almost like an affectionate parent. I find that more than a little strange, but I can't deny it makes me happy as well. I'm willing to bet my master felt something similar when she adopted me. Looking at it from that angle, this make-believe game seems almost like some karmic mission pressed on me by fate. It's a slightly creepy thought, but there's also something fulfilling about it. I definitely like having you around, and I think you're cute the way you are. But that doesn't mean I'm okay with you being a clown for the rest of your life. I want to make that clear.
まあね、私もずっとこのままじゃいられないってのは分かってるのよ。でも勉強したところで何が変わるの？っていうか、なんで勉強なんかしなきゃいけないのかな。
Let's see. In your case, the fact that you're already pretty comfortable financially might be the biggest problem. The most compelling reason to study is probably when it's a step towards some lucrative future or dream career. I mean, once you've decided what you want to do with your life, reading textbooks isn't exactly crucial. Like, if you're determined to become a pianist, you can focus entirely on studying the piano and ignore the rest. Well, that's something of an extreme example, granted. Point is, it doesn't matter so much what you're learning. If you're really determined to become a concert pianist, for example, the piano becomes a lens through which you see everything else. By engrossing yourself in the piano, you can gain a rich, broad understanding of the world. The kind of deep knowledge you'd never pick up from thumbing indifferently through textbooks. People can get myopic, of course. The difference between the word specialist and the term idiot savant is the difference between seeing the world through your field and mistaking your field for the world itself. Peering through the lens I picked up from my master, I got a pretty decent feel for the way things work out there. And as I learned, every scope you can pick up offers its own unique perspective. Okay, yeah, nah. Words. You know me. Sorry. Nose. Yeah. Should be good now. Gazing through your chosen lens helps shape your values and define you as a person. Makina, do you have any, I don't know, dreams? Something you want to be when you grow up, that sort of thing.
そうね。今んところパン屋さんが狙撃兵ぐらいかな。
That is two very different careers on opposite ends of a spectrum. I could be a baker, or I could be a sniper. Well, you're not lacking in variety, at least. You've got the vaguely warm world of a baker, soothing people's souls through their taste buds, and a cold sniper, tracking a distant target with death in their eyes. When it comes to common ground, I guess they're both occupations requiring a lot of stoic behind-the-scenes effort. A bakery sniper. Here's your muffin, sir. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Sorry, just answering a question about some work thing that's happening. Doing great? Good, good. Glad I'm glad. While I'm feeling a little dubious about Makina's future planning right now, as a parent, I should be trying to leave as many paths open to her as possible. And considering my role as her master, I feel obligated not to laugh in her face. That said, what exactly am I supposed to do for her right now? That's a lot less clear. Glancing down at my watch, I find the dial reading 10 a.m. Alright, that's an hour. We're done studying.
まだ何もしてないのに。
If you're unhappy over wasting an hour of your life, why not use that time a little more productively tomorrow? Keep at it and take baby steps. That's how you form a lasting habit. I turn to the copy of Makina's schedule on the wall. The next block of the day has the words, Playtime! Scribbled next to it in sloppy letters. Seems we have some recreation next, but I have to say, doesn't this schedule have a great deal of playtime?
バイトのない日なんてそんなもんなのよさ。つうわけなんで遊んでよ、パパ。
Again with this? Play what?
パパは前の学校にいた時、何して遊んでたの？
Not any games you're gonna be playing, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I recall a lot of playing in general. I had gotten used to a way of life where extracurricular activities were limited to eating and sleeping, so my off days were usually some combination of napping, reading books, and studying. As for the guys around me, it was all cards, ponies, or boats. The rare outliers were the ones who opted for bikes and motorcycles instead. And I'm not about to ask the girl, ponies or poker? In the first place, I only went to the races or casinos when they forced me to tag along on a group outing. Okay, dude, you're like 17. How are you able to get into a casino? Pretty sure you even said you went to, a school in America. I don't think 17-year-olds are allowed in casinos. I gotta find out. Actually, you're only 17 now. Okay, casinos and slot machines. Anyone under 21 is not permitted to play any table game or slot machine, loiter in the designated gaming area of a riverboat, or be employed as a gaming employee. Okay. Yeah, that's a thing. Oh, the minimum legal gambling age is different across states. Looks like the absolute youngest so far, from what I am seeing, the absolute youngest I can find on here is 17. But that's not even casinos. What the hell is a pari-mutuel? System of betting which those who have bet on the winners of a race share in the total amount wagered, less a percentage for the Oh. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, casinos, the ages are generally 21, sometimes 18. It depends. Poker rooms, 21, sometimes 18. Wow, Michigan, you gotta be 32 to get into the poker rooms, apparently. Why? That is a major outlier, actually, that I'm looking at this. Poker rooms, I'm getting like 21, 21, 21, 18 or 21, depends on the casino. 21, 21, 21, 18, 18, 21, 18, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. And then suddenly Michigan's like, use the poker room, you must be 32 years old. Why? Why such a giant gap between everyone else? Funnily enough, though, apparently in North Carolina, to play bingo, you have to be 28 years old. Like, to do actual, like, you know, I guess actual real bingo, like maybe go to a bingo hall, you have to be 28. Other spots is 18. New Mexico's like, we don't care, there's no limit. But most places are just like 18 or 21. Like, why are these two have such massive outliers? What is going on? What happened in those states to have them have bingo at 28 and just going to a poker room be 32? What happened? What's going on in America? I'm now gonna confirm Canada now. Yeah, in Canada, you gotta be 19. You get into casinos, you gotta be 19. Pretty much. Lottery, you gotta be 18. There's some variation. Oddly enough, there is variation here. To enter casino, you gotta be 19, except for 3 of our provinces where you can be 18. For the lottery, you have to be 18, except in 5 provinces where you have to be 19. That's like a year. It's like, just be 19, you can do everything. 19, you can go to the casino, you can do the lottery, you can buy alcohol. It's like, okay. Just wait until you're 19, you can do everything in Canada. You're good. So, it's strange. I'm probably gonna at some point go and look up, why do you have to be 32 years old in Michigan to go to a poker room? What happened in Michigan that they had to restrict it to 32 and up? In my old school, you needed to submit an application to leave the grounds on your days off. Without a stamped authorization card, they wouldn't let you take a step outside. It is. It was indeed. There were a bunch of people who didn't get out much, myself included. No, I'm planning to visit a grave, for one thing. My master's in Yamanashi. Where did Yamashima? Yamanashi. Need to clean it up and all that. Haven't decided yet, but sometime before the Bond Festival. Figured I'd set a welcoming fire. Today? To be certain, it seems a little more constructive than hanging around the dorm aimlessly. And I did give JB advance warning of my plans. It's a little sudden, but I don't see any reason why not. I take my private cell phone from my breast pocket, navigate to the number marked JB, Harudera Yuria, and press the call button.
Hi.
The phone rings several times before JB picks up. Her voice oozes with the bleary displeasure of an overworked public servant pulled out of bed by a telemarketer. Were you sleeping?
ここのところ面倒な仕事が多くてね。少し仮眠していただけよ。要件は何?
It's about that trip to Asiko's grave. I decided to go today.
また急ね。日にちが決まったなら3日前には報告してって言っておいたでしょ。
Thing is, when I woke up this morning, Asako was standing at my bedside with a bitterly resentful look on her face, cursing me for not visiting her grave. I burst into tears and said, "You've got it all wrong! It's all JB's fault!" But she didn't seem to buy it. She believes the fucking ghost story? Are you kidding me? JB, you were sleeping yourself, right? Tell me, has Asiko's spirit paid you a visit yet? Oh my god. In any case, I gotta visit Asiko's grave ASAP. Give me permission to leave the prefecture. Affirmative. No, this time I'll be using conventional public transport. Halfway through the sentence, I happened to notice Amane's helmet lying in the corner of the room. Hold on. Actually, I think I'll get there on my own power after all. No, I'll go by motorbike. I'm borrowing Amane's. How many times do I have to tell you that I can't stand trains? Glad to see you understand the nature of our situation. Give me the go-ahead. Got it. I'll send that before I leave. Alright then. Bobataro? Ah. Yeah, that's right. Amane did say I could use it any time, you know? Figured I might as well take the chance to ride for the first time in a while. She did insure the thing properly, right? Oh, hell. The documents would probably be with the vehicle itself, I guess. Let's go take a look. After locating a motorcycle key engraved with the letter K, among numerous others dangling on a hook by the door inside Amane's room, Maki and I promptly head to the parking lot near the courtyard. Amane does talk about this bike every once in a while, but I've never actually seen her riding the thing. In fact, although I've noticed a likely-looking vehicle sitting under a cover in the lot, I've never actually cast eyes on the beast itself. Amane once said, I'm not sure what the name was, but a Kawasaki 250, I guess? Not a Kawasaki, a Kawataki. Kawataki, dude! a talking man. At first, I pictured some sporty touring model with a parallel twin engine. Well, then again, Chizuru described it as a chopper. That wouldn't look out of place in an American biker gang. So, just what do we really have here? Bracing myself for anything, I tear off the cover dramatically. What the hell? And still, the very first words out of my mouth are a simple expression of disbelief. Even before I removed the tarp, I had a feeling something was off. For a general commercial model, the thing was just too short and too long. And indeed, the vehicle under the sheet is no mere motorcycle. It's a genuine hot rod, ridiculously low set, modified so violently that I couldn't even guess what the original model was. You're gonna show us a picture? This is ridiculous. Looks like they cut it apart with a blowtorch and saw, then mashed it back together. The rear suspension's ludicrously short. Can't even remember the last time I saw a lowrider like this. Just from a glance, I can tell the frame's been cut at the neck, then elongated with a new weld at a different angle. And the conventional seat rail seems to have been chopped off entirely. It's been replaced with a small tandem seat sitting demurely on top of a tacked-on flat rear fender. Hell, even the main saddle's been replaced with a cruiser seat. I've been expecting to find the documents in the storage space under the seat, which currently doesn't even exist anymore. For a moment, I just stare at the hacked-together monstrosity in astonishment. I'm not that familiar with the genre, but I guess it's the sort of motorcycle you'd call old school? Yeah, there's a reason some motorcycles are referred to as choppers, by the way. I'm just gonna confirm it. Confirm. No, not chopper, bicycle, motorcycle. Yeah, figured as much. Yeah, it's a chopper is a chopper when it's like been a motorcycle that has been modified like extensively, generally by elongating it and having different angles to it. Like it's literally been chopped up. So that's just I just had to confirm that. It's like that's why it's a chopper, because it's been chopped up and modified. It's no longer an original model, like the original base model. It's something different on its own. It's in its own class. I see. This really is the sort of thing you could picture some American biker riding. That said, the delinquents over there are all riding super sports or power cruisers these days. The only people who really appreciate the classic American style anymore are old men with beer bellies and the Japanese. Tell me, Makina, you have any idea where she stashed the papers? Makina points out an inconspicuous leather tool bag hanging off the side of the motorcycle, secured at the fastener with a small padlock. Ah, right. There'd be a small key I couldn't There'd been a small key I couldn't identify on the same ring as the motorcycle key. Guess that must be for the bag. Let's see. The papers are... Ah, there we go. After removing the lock, I begin rifling through the contents of the cylindrical bag. Sifting through a minor assortment of tools, I discover a sheath of papers rolled into a plastic tube. Owner, Suomane. We've got the VIN and license plate number. And the compulsory insurance. Looks like it's good through April next year. Damn, she even got supplementary insurance with a rider covering a passenger. We should learn from her example. Alright then. Looks like there won't be any issues using this. What do you mean? What? Oh, hell. Well, when you chop it up and sew it back together like Frankenstein's monster, it's hardly surprising the thing might get a little cranky. Indeed. I'll take care of it. That said, easy enough to talk big, but what's the deal with this thing? I can't even tell what it used to be before they started hacking away at it. Looking at the papers, it seems like the base was an off-road motorcycle. More precisely, a dual-purpose trail bike that can handle messing around in the dirt. And the motor model doesn't match the vehicle type. Did they swap in an engine from a totally different motorcycle? Completely ridiculous. Hell, where do you even put the key into this thing? There's nothing that looks like an ignition cylinder on the top bridge. After repeatedly looking over both sides of the frame, I finally discover the keyhole's been relocated under the main seat on the right. Inserting the key, I give it an exploratory half-turn to the right. And in the custom mini-meter wedged on the left of the tank, the green neutral light and red oil light blink to life. Battery seems to be alive. I reach out to the right handle and feel around for the starter switches, but they aren't where I expected them to be either. Looking more carefully at the engine, the self-starter motor seems to have been removed entirely. The hole's plugged up with a black rubber stopper. It's a kick? Fighting down a wave of irritation, I look over the right side of the frame and find the kickstart lever. It's unusually shaped. Looks custom ordered. Probably designed to keep the brake from getting in the way when you're kicking down to start it. Wait, is this thing forward on the left and mid-control on the right? Unbelievable. Guess I should be grateful they didn't throw a suicide clutch while they were at it. Probably because the rear brake is a cable-pulling drum type. The pedal's positioned further back compared to the shift lever on the left side. Seems like it'd feel a little weird. I mean, once the thing gets up to speed, you'll just be resting your right foot on the forward peg anyway. But having to move your leg all the way back to get to the brake is even more concerning. In any case, let's see how the engine runs. I flip open the cap of the carelessly unlocked tank and find plenty of gasoline inside. And within seconds, I can see the volatilizing petroleum shimmering in the summer sunshine. Oh my, say that's 3 times fast. Looking as though the fuel's still good. After switching the petcock valve under the tank from off to on, I pulled the choke plunger on the carburetor halfway out. Okay, we're gonna go through all the steps of turning on a motorcycle. Come on! I don't even know what half of this stuff means. Then put my foot on the kickstart and lightly press around the lever in search of the top dead center. The moment I discover the point of greatest resistance, I give it a good hard kick. Oh, that was easy enough. Considering how long the vehicle's just been sitting here neglected, the motorcycle starts up so easily that it actually feels like a bit of an anticlimax. A vehicle this heavily customized is normally a bit more ornery. Was Amane actually keeping this thing maintained all the time it's been sitting here? Just as I'm feeling a good bit of admiration for its owner, there's a strange little sneeze from the motorcycle's exhaust pipe. And its vigorously idling engine abruptly stalls. Whoops. Well, figured it wouldn't be that easy. I give the kick pedal another vigorous step, but this time it doesn't even cough. There's no sign of the ignition even engaging. You've gotta be kidding me, right? Battered by the blazing summer sun, lukewarm sweat trickling heavily down my forehead, I mashed down on the kick lever again and again. The neutral light's still on, so the electronics are still functioning. The battery's small MF type designed to power mopeds and scooters, but with a kickstart, that should be more than enough. Even though the electrical system's fine, we're not getting a spark. And the engine did start once, just a minute ago. Which would mean... $10 says the CDI's on the fritz. Capacitor Discharge Ignition, or CDI for short. It's a generic term for the electronic device that controls the ignition of an engine. Among the extremely simple mechanical parts of a typical motorcycle engine, it stands out as a comparatively advanced piece of electronics. Because of that complexity, it's not uncommon for it to malfunction, especially given its position in a rough environment of high heat and constant vibration. Sometimes it'll abruptly stop working entirely. Damn it. Where's the CDI? Peering under the tank, I find the ignition coil and follow it along the harness. No. That's the turn signal relay. And this is the headlight booster relay. Okay, what's this thing? The fuse box? Fuse isn't blown. God damn it! It's hot! A black puddle of sweat forms on the ground beside me as I squat next to the bike. CDI... CDI... Where's the damn CDI? After a good 10 minutes of groping along the harness, I finally notice an inconspicuous side cover just below the seat on the left side. After removing it, I discover a square black object sitting next to the regulator rectifier. Found it! There you are, you little bastard! Carefully removing the coupler connecting the CDI to the harness, I intensely scrutinize the little black box, but there's no visual evidence of it being damaged. Then again, it's not exactly the sort of part you can reliably assess by eyeballing. Reaching my thumb around behind the plastic cover, I gently rub the electronic guts of the unit until their protective coat God, I can't even read. I gently rub the electronic guts of the unit through their protective coat of epoxy resin. When the CDI is keeping your engine from starting, this will often be enough to bring it back to life. Of course, that's really just a temporary stopgap measure, not a resolution of the fundamental problem. But if this does get the engine firing again, that would confirm the CDI is responsible. Reattaching the freshly massaged piece of electronics to its coupler, I press down firmly on the kick pedal once more. Told you so, asshole! Really was the CDI. Hand over that 10! As I vent my spleen on some vaguely defined imaginary foe, Amane's motorcycle, Bobataro, springs easily back to life. It proceeds to rumble pleasantly away underneath me. I have to say, though, this thing is pretty noisy. I'll take this sort of growling over high-pitched shrieking any day. But if I got this thing going and drove past some elementary school, it'd definitely be loud enough to get the kids grimacing and covering their ears with their hands. Yeah. Motorcycles be loud. Excuse me. Oh well. Guess I'll have to stuff some steel wool or something in the exhaust pipe to quiet it down. I just watch over things as it idles for a while, but the engine doesn't seem inclined to sputter off again. Maybe the CDI itself wasn't the issue? The contact with the coupler might just have been off. Temporarily stopping the engine, I check the oil and lights, and then move on to testing the front and rear brakes. All good. But when I finally get around to looking at the air pressure on the tires... Christ, are you serious? It's got a damn flat. Am I gonna have to change a tire in this absurd heat? Give me a damn break already. No, sir, you are not gonna get a break. Guess what? Maintaining a bike is... sometimes a bitch. Sighing heavily, I lean my head back and gaze up into the sky. Within seconds, I can feel the tip of my nose scorching under the blazing sunlight. I'm sorely tempted to just say, screw it. But after all this effort, giving up and going by train would be seriously galling in its own right. And this right here might take some time. Muttering an excuse to no one in particular, I decide to temporarily return to my room and rehydrate myself. For a moment, I'm seriously tempted to take the wheel off entirely and lug it back to my room to patch up. But fortunately, it doesn't prove to be anything quite that serious. When I start pumping air back into the tire, it inflates back up normally, and the pancake on the bottom disappears completely in a matter of minutes. Why is it that tube tires always manage to lose air just sitting in a parking lot? While this minor mystery nags at me somewhat, by the time 11 rolls around, we've successfully readied everything we need for our trip. Alright! All preparations for departure complete? Oh, yeah, I fucked up a word, whatever. Ugh. I got tired of the motorcycle talk, like, dude, you went through too much. You did not need to tell us that. Excellent. The time is currently 1100 hours. We're beginning the operation. All personnel embark! Straddling Bobotaro like a bold general swinging onto his warhorse, I deposit Amane in the tandem seat. Make sure she's got a firm grip on my waist. Then kick the bike into first gear with the tip of my left foot and slowly squeeze the clutch lever to the handle. Oh, now we get a look at it. Yuji, what the fuck are you wearing? I mean, the helmet is fine. You're wearing a vest over your school uniform shirt. Whatever. Though they say when you're riding a motorcycle, you want to dress for the slide, not for the ride. I.e., if you're in an accident, that's what the leather's for. It's supposed to, the leather and the helmet and all that. It's let that wear away, take most of the impact and the damage. Because if you wore just a t-shirt and like shorts on a motorcycle and you're in an accident, that's raw skin going across the ground. You're not gonna have skin after that. So, dress for the slide, not for the ride. Yeah. Looks like it's gonna be another hot one. You did put on sunscreen, right? As we begin to leisurely putter along the coastal road in the direction of Yamanashi Prefecture, Maki and I talk through the two-way FM radios we use for our sniper games. Naturally, I've hooked them up to throat mics for hands-free operation. Yeah, Mane's got some road rage. You think? I mean, what kind of idiot would start roaring around on a bike like this? If a tire loses a little air, your levers will be dragging along the ground. A low center of gravity is nice, but this is ridiculous. I've never driven a motorcycle this bizarrely low to the ground before. But just leisurely gliding along in the wake of the car ahead doesn't feel half bad. And that said, I can't help thinking its overall lack of power and weak maneuverability is going to be an issue once we get on those steep mountain roads. Well, let's just take it slow and easy. You're old enough to have a license yourself, Makina. Why don't you take the test? Well, I guess I sort of understand how she feels. It's easy to picture Makina hopping on a moped or something, shouting, "Okay then, going off to play," and tottering off into the distance. At which point, you'd be sitting by the phone, biting your nails, waiting for a call from some hospital or the police. But when you snatch away something from a child and tell them it's dangerous, they'll go to any lengths to play with it behind your back. Personally, I feel it's better just to let them learn under your strict supervision. Maybe that's a testosterone-infused way of looking at it. Well, at least in... what is it? Amane's route, yes, you did. You took the bike. Let's see. The way you balance, turn, and stop are all pretty similar to a bicycle, so I don't think it'd be impossible for you to learn. But unlike Amane, you're short and have stubby legs. Might be a little tricky for you to get the hang of it right now.
やっぱ無理
For starters, let's stick to practicing on your bicycle. Maybe next time we can try some... What? Gymkhana? What? I'm sorry, what? What the hell is Gymkhana? A motorcycle time trial sport in which riders compete to maneuver in the shortest time through a paved course restricted by traffic cones or other obstacles. Oh, okay. Popular in Japan. Okay. So it's an obstacle course, kind of. Timed obstacle course, essentially. Sorry, I was just looking at something real quick. Apologies. It's an ideal game for learning the most fundamental part of operating a two-wheeled vehicle. Shifting your body weight while controlling the contact patch and load on your tires. You compete for the best time on an obstacle course.
なんか面白そうね
You'll fall off constantly until you get used to it, you know? I know I did.
ちなみにパパは初めてオートバイに乗ったのっていつ
When I was 14 or so, I think. Drove around on the private land up in the mountains where I was living with my master. Right. She started me off by making me climb onto this full-size dirt bike she used to ride, and my legs weren't even close to reaching the ground. So I'd have to reach up and squeeze the clutch with one foot on the gear shift, then swing up onto the seat only after the thing started moving. Getting it started wasn't a picnic. Stopping was just as much of a pain. I had a choice between decelerating as much as possible before jumping down onto the brake, or stopping myself manually with a foot against a stone or tree. Looking back on it now, it's pretty impressive that I managed to ride the thing at all.
どうだったやっぱり最初は怖かった
I've been riding bicycles for a long time, so I don't remember being particularly scared. After all, I wasn't trying to pull any death-defying stunts. Compared to the terror I'd experienced previously, it probably didn't even register. Come to think of it, I didn't feel particularly afraid the first time I took my master's place in the field either. Even after finishing the job, returning home, and completing my report, when she asked, "Were you scared?" I honestly answered no. Hell, it almost felt like I had fun. But when night came and there was nothing left to do but take a bath and go to sleep... Okay, this is a thing. I found myself holding my over the toilet bowl, completely unable to piss. What a thing. You just had to say that, huh? Whatever, bro. A small twinge of doubt ran through me, and I finally noticed that my hands were shaking. As the tension finally drained out of me like a string removed from a bow, I was seized by terror so intense I thought I might never stop shaking. I'd casually, almost thoughtlessly, slipped by a situation where one wrong step could have meant death. Mixed in with the fear was a wave of thankfulness for my sheer dumb luck. I was fortunate today, but the dice might very well fall differently next time. With that thought, the shaking grew stronger. Even now, I can vividly remember the terror I felt that night. But after experiencing that fear again and again, I guess you could say I obtained the ability to control those feelings. Or maybe I just gained a nose for danger and the instinct to avoid it. When I get right down to it, I think it might just be a matter of experience and caution. Put in enough hours to develop the foresight to see trouble coming ahead of time, and you'll be completely fine. You're at greatest risk when you start thinking, I'm on top of my game today. Bring it on! Basically, don't get too carried away or you'll end up taking a fall. That pretty much sums up riding a motorcycle. I already explained this with the bicycle last time, but any vehicle's safe enough as long as you stay aware of your surroundings and give yourself a generous margin for error. Nice. Yeah, you got the idea. Incidentally, right now, I'm going about half my baseline pace. Don't know how much I can trust a mini-meter wedged onto a different company's bike, but roughly 50 kilometers per hour. One step above pick it up, Gramps. Given this speed and following distance, even if the guy in front of us spills hot coffee on his pants and smashes into the guardrail, we wouldn't have any problem dealing with the situation. What's it like driving a motorcycle anyway? Posed this question by Makina, and I briefly paused to consider. Do you remember the first day you rode a bicycle? For Makina, it was practically just the other day, so I'm sure she remembers it vividly. The feelings it inspired might not have even not even faded completely. I can't read again. On the day you learned to ride a bike, the day you pedaled alone down an unfamiliar road for the first time, didn't it feel like the world had suddenly grown larger around you? Yeah, bike is your first step toward having that absolute freedom. Being able to go places a little easier, a little further, a little faster than just straight up walking. You're getting there under your own power, literally. You're not relying on anything other than your own 2 feet moving that bike, moving those bike pedals. It is very freeing. It's nice. It is actually very, very nice. Tempted. This world's an endless road that can take you anywhere at all, and that bicycle could carry you much, much further than your weak little legs. That first day, did you ask yourself, just how far can I go? The first day I rode a motorcycle, that open question was replaced with something that felt like an answer. I can go wherever the hell I want! That's what a motorcycle is. You understand what I'm saying?
わかんねえ。もうちっと簡単に説明して。
Oh my god. I don't know. You can go where you want, stop where you want, even just ride along with no destination at all if you want. That's what a motorcycle is.
それは簡略しすぎて、かえってわかりにくい
Oh,
の。
come on, Makina! It's not that hard to understand. I consult my watch to discover it's already 1 in the afternoon. As if on cue, Makina begins complaining about her grumbling stomach, so I pull over at random in a suitable spot and lay out our plastic picnic sheet for a late lunch. The lunch boxes Makina prepared were, as she declared earlier, packed primarily with freshly baked cinnamon rolls and pumpkin bread. According to Makina, making these required comparatively little effort on her part, as the bread machine took care of the primary fermentation. But that said, the taste is nothing to scoff at. The girl claims that anyone with a bread maker and a functional brain could achieve such results. I'm slightly moved to learn that we're living in an era where even amateurs can produce bread of this caliber, but at the same time, I feel as though I've caught a glimpse of dark clouds gathering on the horizon for the bakery industry.
ね、パパ、あそこにいっぱい生えてる背の低い木はブドウの木？
Okay. First of all, grapes grow on vines. Secondly, those are mulberry trees.
クワ？クワっつうのはブドウの仲間？
Not that I know of. Why are you so caught up on grapes anyway? Okay, try not to talk as though Yamanashi's got nothing but grapes to offer the world. The good people of Koshu will give you a good swift boot to the rear.
なんでだよ？じゃあブドウ以外何があんのよさ。
People? Can't come up with a rebuttal. Peaches?
パパこそ講習時にぶっ飛ばされんぞ。
Wait, no! There's also Hodo soup, And those rice cakes with black honey. And, don't mess with the valley, okay?
別に舐めちゃいないし、ぶどうも桃も大好きなのよ。岡山とキャラかぶってんけどな。
Did you really have to say that last part? Such a cheeky little brat. Where'd you get the chutzpah from anyway?
多分パパに似たんだと思うんだぜ。
Oh, right. Well, anyway, that's a mulberry tree. Food for your... Bombix Mori?
また知らん言葉が出てきた。誰だよ、おかいこさん。
What? You don't know about silkworm moths? You farm the larvae and make the silk from their cocoons. The industry's been around for forever, you know.
絹ってガの幼虫が作ってんの？
Yeah, it's a natural fiber. You didn't know that either?
クジラのヒゲからバイオリンの弓みたいな感じ？
Ayo, what? Wrong on many levels, but the strange thing is, I can actually understand what you're trying to say somehow.
ちょっと見てきていい？
Just looking is fine by me, but don't start plucking off fruit, you got that? Also, put your hat on first.
わかってる。
Just like that, Makina darts off into the blazing sun, flapping her outstretched arms like a bird as she rushes over toward the mulberry field. Thanks to her diminutive frame, she looks like a young child headed off to play. The girl shows interest in anything and everything she encounters. When she runs into something she doesn't understand, she immediately asks, why? In return, I offer what answers I can from my own experience and knowledge. When that fails me, we think it over together. Sometimes hearing Makina's perspective leads me to new insights of my own. I guess this might be what people mean when they say, teaching someone means learning from them in return. Come to think of it, it was my own instructor who told me that. The person who taught me everything and made me want to learn in the first place. Not a parent or a teacher. Kusakabe Asako. My master, the woman who single-handedly built me up from nothing. For better or worse, I'm at least 80% the person she made me. She found a whelp crawling along the bottom of the Valley of Despair, reached down her hand, pulled it up into the world of human beings. For Asako, picking me up might have been an afterthought. An impulsive, spur-of-the-moment decision. Not much more than a whim. Even so, if I hadn't met her, I wouldn't be what I am today. I probably would have given up on life outright a long time ago. But Asako was there, on that day, in that moment. She took me by the hand. Thanks to her, and the people around her, primarily a certain aggravating, shaggy-headed blonde, I'm standing here today. I'm still living, carrying the final words she left me in my heart. What was the point of keeping a piece of trash like me alive? I want an answer to that question. That, more than anything else, is what keeps me going.
Papa! Papa!
Hmm? Yeah? What's up?
桑畑見てきた。なんかすっげーいっぱいカミキリムシがいた。
She's eating the fruit. No kid. Hey, wait a second! What are you eating?
あ、スイカだよ。ほら、あそこに農夫のおばあちゃんがいるじゃんね。あの人にもらったずら。
Okay. You put a finger in your mouth and stared at the melon with big wistful eyes, didn't you? Please tell me you at least said thank you.
当たり前じゃんけ。ちゃんとお礼言ったずらよ。
Eh? She's already picked up some weird snatches of Koshu dialect just from talking with a local for a few minutes. Girl sure adapts quickly. No, maybe her brain's just pliable as a piece of putty. I stand beside Makina and bow deeply to the kind farmer. Alright then, seems like we're more than hydrated enough. I think it's time we got back on the road. You know, your dialect's a little off there. Seems like the field artillery's practicing today. When my ears begin to pick up the air-shaking thunder of the guns in the distance, it feels like we finally entered the Yamanashi I know. Among the vehicles we pass on the road, squat medium trucks and high-mobility vehicles painted khaki grow increasingly common. At one point, I make eye contact with a commander sticking his head out of the cupola on a passing Type 96, and have to restrain the impulse to salute. I have to say, Makina, for someone who's supposedly so shy around strangers, you're pretty sociable. Although Irisu Makina has firmly established her position as the shy girl at Mihama Academy, from what I've seen, this reputation seems somewhat exaggerated. In fact, just the other day, I witnessed her impudently sponging chestnut candy off an old couple on a bench outside a sweet shop in the shopping district. Oh my god, this... Well, you did in fact proceed to munch away at the chestnuts with a dopey look of bliss on your face. There might have been some snorting and snuffling involved. They asked. Right. So my question is, how exactly are you supposed to be shy again? Come to think of it, it does seem like you're always targeting kind-looking older people. So I guess elderly people don't seem so scary? Is that it? You're used to old people. Huh. Interesting. Oh. What? So, what? Because she spent all that time surrounded by geezers, she never had the chance to pick up the niceties of interacting with people her age, making it awkward to approach them? I guess?
何せ6年も病院にいたせいでジジイの良し悪しを嗅ぎ分ける嗅覚には他の被験を許さないほどに卓越したものがあるとの自負があるのよさ。
Okay then. I see.
ジークササじゃパパも相当なもんなのよ。私がパパに懐いた理由だしなんかジムさい人だなって思ったのがきっかけだったしな。
Alright, so she initially saw us like a grandpa, then we got downgraded to Oni-chan, now we're Papa, so we got that middle ground somehow. A grandpa? Well, I do get you don't act much like a kid pretty frequently, but this is a first.
なんつんだろ、ジジムさいっていうか名字落ち着いてるし自分の中にピンと一歩ぶれない筋が通ってるっていうか、何？
He is a mighty oak.
もし若武者なんかそんな風に感じたのよさ。
Now that you mention it, there was this one time JB saw me repairing my tools on the weekend. Said, "You look like a Ronin making umbrellas."
ああ、近い近い。なんかそんな感じ。
True enough, I've never disliked jobs that call for a steady acclamation of sober effort. I can't say I was expecting comparison to a masterless swordsman living austerely off his handicrafts. I gotta learn that fucking word better. I rarely use it ever, so yeah, forgive me. About 2.5 hours have passed since our departure from the dorm. We've reached an area I know by sight. No longer even bothering to check the map, I doggedly ride up the familiar mountain roads toward our destination. The path begins to narrow steadily. It's still paved, fortunately, but soon it's thin enough to deserve the description of farm road. If a car were to come in the opposite direction, we wouldn't be able to pass each other. Pass each other by, okay. That said, the odds of us running into traffic are pretty much zero. At this point, all we have ahead of us is one lonely cell phone tower and an iron gate guarding the entrance to an obscure national forest. The only people we could possibly run into up here would be maintenance workers for the telecom company. Or tourists who took a few wrong turns, I suppose. Bobotaro labors up the final stretch of road, straining to carry his 2 passengers up the 15-degree slope, 26 at its worst points. His tappets clack beneath us as a constant chorus of complaint. And finally, after passing 3 sets of flag signboards reading, "Authorized personnel only beyond this point," set some 100 meters apart, the iron gate we're looking for comes into view. We're here, Makina. Makina spreads her legs wide open to push herself over the tandem seat, lowering herself to the ground in a less than refined fashion. I don't know, is your ass bleeding or not? It's pretty easy to tell. The girl rubs her tender rear through her skirt, twirling around like a dog chasing its own tail. Turning my back on her, I insert my key into the padlock on the hefty iron gate. Well, it's technically the country's mountain. My master and I lived in the cabin up here, managing the land. Let's see. Guess it's about a 30-minute walk from here? Yes. I'd like to ride up there myself, but I don't think Bobotaro here would handle a rocky slope like this too well. Beyond the open gate, a coarse gravel road continues into the mountain, slanting sharply upward at a good 30 degrees or so. Unless you're driving a four-wheel drive Jeep or dirt bike with off-road tires, getting a vehicle up this would be pretty tricky. Amane's Bobotaro is a road bike, poorly suited to mountain trails to begin with. And given the ridiculous low-rider remodeling, it'd clearly get its belly stuck in the dirt from climbing 10 meters.
もしかしてこんな急な坂道を30分も登るの？
No, it's only steep by the entrance. After 30 meters or so, the slope gets a lot more gentle.
仕方がない。軽いレジャー感覚で登るのよさ。
I kill Bobotaro's Enshin, then sling Makina's rucksack over my left shoulder. Leaving our friend sitting in first gear in the middle of the road, the two of us step past the gate. Things haven't changed much in my absence from the mountain. As always, the air's thick with the lusty cries of cicadas, but there's no sign of human presence. Other than the squawking insects, the only sounds are the crunching of our feet against the gravel and weeds. And Makina's labored breathing, growing quicker and louder with every minute. You alright?
平気。まだ大丈夫。
The girl can be surprisingly stubborn at times like these. Probably an attempt to demonstrate she's not a helpless weakling who needs to be babied constantly. Still, I have to be sure to keep an eye on her though, or she might end up collapsing on the ground and falling asleep on the spot.
ねえ、パパ。聞いてもいい？
Hmm? About what?
これからお墓参りする人、パパの師匠ってどんな人？
Probably one tough SOB. Now, let's see. Where do I even begin? Come to think of it, although I've brought Asuko up several times, numerous times, I don't remember getting into the details. I mean, nobody really seemed that interested. Now, I guess it was just too awkward to ask. My master's name was Kusakabe Asuko. And we first met when I was 12 or 13 or so. She was a lot older than me, obviously. I'd lost my entire family a while before this. At the time, a friend of my dad's had taken me in, but... well, that family friend was what you'd call a bad guy. The kind of man who slips through the cracks in the law, profiting off misery and tearing money away from soft-hearted people. This seems familiar. Yeah, I know, right? This CG is very, very familiar. I wonder where we've seen it before. Alright. the bad guy in question made some enemies on the shadier side of our government. Bit off a little more than he could chew. They decided to bring the hammer down. Thanks, Nick. And the small assault force that invaded the villain's lair, well, mansion, and suppressed it in the blink of an eye was led by my master, Kusakabe Asako.
つまり子供の頃のパパを悪者から救い出してくれたのがその師匠なのね。
The game was blocking the view of my camera, so until you said something... Yes, Ruby! Come here, honey. I didn't even see she was there. What are you doing, my baby girl? Hmm? What are you doing? Want a treat? Go get a treat. There. Gave her a treat. Yeah, that's the basic outline.
それからはずっと師匠と一緒にここで暮らしたの？
Not constantly. We lived here for the first year or so, but I ended up getting shipped off to America fairly soon because of some circumstances with Asako's employer.
カリフォルニアのサンディエゴな。
Good memory.
その後はバージニアのクアンティコで結局また日
Quantico.
本に帰ってきたのよね。
That's right. And in between all that, I lived with Asako. She's the one who helped me find the strength I needed to live.
つまり今の私にとってのパパみたいにパパにとっては師匠はママみたいなものだったのね。
Don't think Mommy quite covers it. If I had to categorize the woman, I'd say she was my master. But in the sense that she raised a cowardly, snot-nosed brat into a reasonably competent man, I guess you could say she was something like a mother. Kusakabe Asako was the only person I'd ever called master, and the only person I ever will. I was nothing but a filthy little cockroach she'd happened to carry home from her job one night. We weren't related. She had no obligation to do anything but flush me down the toilet. And instead, she spent the rest of her life raising me. The woman was a force of nature, infallible and unshakable. Even if she's gone, Kusakabe Asako will always be the strongest woman in the world to me. God damn, the amount of respect he has for her. Just as I estimated, after about 30 minutes of trudging up the mountain, the forest around us begins to thin, and the rough dirt trail grows gentle and slope. As we reach an even plot of land that seems to have been cut neatly out of the natural plateau, a single log cabin comes into view beyond a chained-up metal gate. Oh, that's a nice little place. Alright, Makina. We're here.
疲れた。暑くて死ぬ。ここがパパ
grew up in. Well, I guess you could say that. Yeah, this is the house where I was raised. It's only been 2 months or so since I left, but the cabin's already under siege by thick wild grasses. The sight inspires a small twinge of melancholy. I'm tempted to start attacking those weeds right away, but I guess we should go in and rest for a while first. Oh my fucking god. Don't tee-hee-hee me, kid. I have to call up Amani and give her another scolding. Removing my key ring from the carabiner I'd been using to fasten it to my belt, I select an old-fashioned key with a dull golden color. Pushing it into the equally old-fashioned keyhole on the oil-finished teakwood door, I give it one rotation to the left. The interior of the cabin, naturally enough, hasn't changed at all in the months since I last saw it. Even after I'm left, I'm pretty confident JB kept up that melodramatic habit of dropping by for a solitary drink in the memory of the departed. But although she's surprisingly adverse to cleaning for someone with such an anal personality, it seems she wasn't quite lazy enough to leave her crumpled cans and potato chip wrappers lying around the place. Alright, good. JB cleaned up after herself. You actually have stuff. I thought you just lived in a tent. That was my impression. I thought you lived in a tent or lived in a fucking cave. Well, it's not like I was living on my own. Only partially paying attention to the conversation, I wander over to the fridge and reach for the handle. Still cold. Guess the electricity's still flowing. Want something to drink? Might have been a hasty offer. Nothing but beer and smoked cheese, huh? Naturally enough, I emptied out the fridge before leaving this cabin behind. What little we do have is clearly just leftovers from JB's visits. Other than the booze and snacks, there's also 3 bottles of my favorite eye drops sitting on the lower shelf. Probably the woman's attempts at a thoughtful gesture, in case I decide to return at some point. I retrieve 1 bottle of eye drops from the fridge and glance over at Makina. Why eye drops? I'm confused. Or are eye drops something else that I'm thinking of now? Hey, Makina? Catch. A sniper's eyes are their life. Give that stuff a try. If you apply some to both eyes 30 minutes before shooting and stretch your ocular muscles, your focusing speed changes pretty dramatically. Gazing curiously at the bottle in her hand, Makina carefully breaks the seal, then leads her head back with mouth slightly ajar to apply the drops. 1 drop per eye is plenty. No need to blink too much either. Give it a second, and start slowly moving your eyes in figure 8s. As her eyeballs begin to move back and forth underneath her lids, Makina's upper body sways along with them. Slowly open your eyes. Alternate between looking at something nearby and something far away. It helps get you focusing properly. That's all there is to it. Just repeat this 4 times a day, morning, noon, evening, and before you go to bed. You still listening?
写真って。
Makina's eyes, after focusing at random on a distant object, have stopped darting back and forth. She's staring at the middle of a small bookshelf where a single photo of Asako and me as a kid stands in a frame. When I left this cabin behind, I deliberately flipped it face down in an attempt at symbolic closure, but now it's been returned to its original position. Damn it, JB. Mind your own business.
あの写真の人が師匠の人？
Yeah, that's right. I reach out and take the frame from the bookshelf. This is the one and only photograph of Asako remaining in this world. It was taken not long after she first took me in. The day she dragged me off to a zoo in Ueno on what seemed like a whim. Not really a photograph I want to show off, but I pass over the frame to Makina, who proceeds to intently contemplate the photo inside. Asako glowers at the camera, eyebrows furrowed in clear irritation. At her side, a younger me stares coldly at nothing in particular. Eyes clouded but glittering with a venomous sheen. I got a pretty awful look on my face, right? At the time, I was just completely empty. Didn't give a damn about anything or anyone. Pretty much just a dead kid that forgot to stop breathing. Jesus. I guess Asako got fed up watching me that she decided to try her hand at babysitting. Not exactly her field of expertise, you understand.
何があったの？
It's a long story, but the abbreviated version is that my whole family died. And I was deeply involved in their deaths. I was responsible, so I couldn't just push the blame on someone else. That self-loathing was probably just too much for me to deal with. I wrapped myself up in a shell instead.
そっか。
But thanks to Asako, I managed to get back on my feet somehow. She gave me, if not a reason to live, then at least an excuse not to die. I might seem almost too vigorous these days, but if I hadn't met Asako, if Asako hadn't taken me in, I might well have died a long time ago.
命の恩人？
This is like the only person he's opened up to about his past in all these routes so far, and it's to Makina, while they're standing in essentially his second childhood home, where he was reborn. Of all people, this is the one person he really opens up to. Yeah. Then she went and died before I had the chance to repay the debt. Unbelievable, right?
悲しいね。
That's not how I felt about it, actually. I didn't really mourn when Asako passed. I'd been prepared for the possibility she might die at any time, but for some reason, I still had a hard time believing she was actually gone. I guess there was a part of me that couldn't accept that monster of a woman was really dead. If there was one word that described Asako, it was ridiculous. Not a shred of common sense in her body. She was a bull of a woman, and the world was her personal china shop. And to me, she was something like a god. Or a devil. Maybe both.
悪鬼とか神とか、なんかとにかくすごい人だったのね。
Okay, here's a story. This actually happened the same day that picture was taken. I was just sitting around, wallowing in self-hatred. Holding a private pity party, honestly. As if that was gonna make up for anything. All of a sudden, Asuko grabs me by the hand and drags me off to the zoo. She showed me all these animals I'd never seen before. Elephants, giraffes, zebras, the whole deal. Probably hoping to get at least some minor sign of interest out of me. But, well, I was really acting like a brat back then. I mean, I actually was a brat, but still. I kept myself inside that shell, not even twitching an eyebrow at anything she showed me. And I guess that attitude got Asuko pretty irritable after a while. So the two of us are just standing there, staring at the lions in complete silence. When all of a sudden, this one big guy opens his mouth wide and tries to scare us off with a giant roar. And the next thing I know, Asuko's bellowing, "Shut the hell up! Don't growl at me, asshole! I'll fucking kill you!" So yeah, she was the sort of person who'd get into a shouting contest with the king of the beasts. And win. The woman was nuts. Okay. Yeah, just yell at a lion, telling it to shut up. Just telling a lion to shut the hell up. Just gonna wrestle with lions now? Shut up, Scar! I mean, her opponent was locked up in a cage. Anyone could have yelled at them if they wanted to. But when Asuko screamed in his face, the animal actually flinched, then just backed away slowly. You should have seen the look on his face. So there I was, gawking up at her with my eyes wide open, thinking, this woman's a complete lunatic. Then I noticed I was smiling. Guess that was the moment when I started slowly regaining halfway normal emotions. Yeah, all it took was a woman shouting at a lion to shut the fuck up, and I slowly became a person again.
It's a Gundam!
Well, I don't know about that. Who says meeting me was really a good thing? Hard to know for sure yet, don't you think? When you put it like that, I feel a little weight on my shoulders. Hey, Asuko. I feel the same way as Makina. I remember what you said to me just before you died. Sorry, Yuchi. Ran my big mouth about teaching you how to live, but training you to do an ugly job in the shadows was the best I could manage. Maybe so, but I'm still grateful to you. Because even now, your words are what keep me stumbling forward. Without intending to do so, I ended on a fairly lengthy digression about my past. Among many mixed emotions, a small flush of embarrassment rose to the surface. In an effort to hide this, I abruptly declared break time over, then led Makina around to the shed out back. Although we always called it a shed, the building itself is pretty impressive. not that different from the main cabin in size. It's a storehouse, packed full of tools and provisions necessary to live up here. I pulled Makina along into the storehouse, seeking out weapons with which to confront the well-entrenched horde of weeds that have flourished in the summer heat. Specifically, we retrieved a few hand scythes and spades, an old lawnmower, and a pair of straw hats hanging from nails on the wall. A good straw hat with a wide brim is indispensable for weeding under the blazing sun. I put on the hat Asuko used to wear when she was alive, then dropped the smaller one I wore as a child onto Makina's head. It takes us another 5 minutes of climbing up the mountain to reach Asuko's grave, not far from the summit. Her gravestone stands in a spot affording an unbroken view of the bastion below, or basin. While the location may be good, the gravestone itself is hardly worthy of the name. It's just a huge, fairly decent-looking rock picked at random from the woods, and half buried in the ground to keep it erect. In fact, the rough surface of the stone doesn't even have her name chiseled into it. It's a crude marker and nothing else. Even so, there's no doubt that Asuko's remains are resting here. I was the one who took the ashes from the funeral home and buried them, and I was the one who raised the gravestone above them. Hey, persuade me. Yep, doing well. Enjoy your work and enjoy your lurk. Appreciate it, bud. Silly girl, Ruby Rule. When it came to religion, Asuko's official position was no policy. She used to half-joke about it. If I croak, just bury me wherever. I won't complain as long as you burn me up first. You can just poke a popsicle stick in the ground for a gravestone. Left with these half-assed instructions to work off of after Asuko's death, JB arranged for the cremation, then agreed to leave the rest entirely to me. I was at a complete loss for a while, but in the end decided to make the mountain where we'd lived together her final resting place. Nobody criticized that choice, remote and lonely as it might seem. Asuko never had a family to begin with, and her best friend JB had no complaints about my decision. But since I was the one who chose this place, the duty of maintaining it also rests with me. Starting the engine of the lawnmower, I pushed up here from the shed. I have Makina hang back while I mow down the weeds in one sweep. When that's done, I switch to the spade and quietly begin digging away at their stubborn roots. Makina follows behind me as I steadily work my way around the clearing. As I hacked down the weeds and pulled them out of the earth, she picked them up and collected them in heavy-duty trash bags. It's ridiculously hot, dirty, and monotonous work. Not a fun job in any way, shape, or form. But Makina holds out surprisingly well, not complaining even once as we fight our way through the overgrown wild grasses. We keep it up for maybe 2 hours, covered in sweat and grime. Feels even longer than that. By the time I finally sit down to stretch out my aching back, having fully liberated Asuko's gravestone from the summer weeds that had nearly engulfed it, we filled 8 of our 70-liter trash bags to the brim. Well, guess that's good enough. I slowly raise my tired body off the ground and turn around to look at Makina and her dirt-smeared face. Looking at the girl biting her lower lip with something uncertain in her eyes, I realize I've been hacking away at the weeds in total silence all this time. She may have been struggling along beside me in an attempt to be considerate. Slightly touched, I speak to her in the gentlest tone of voice I can manage. You're tired, right? Let's call it a day. Taking the towel I'd wrapped around my neck for protection against the sun, I wiped the dirt from her face. Apparently understanding from the gesture that I finished this simple greeting to my departed friend, Makina's formerly tense face loosens into a dopey, ticklish smile. That's actually adorable as she helped. Just came with him. By the time the colors of evening fill the sky, we've put away our tools and returned to the grave. I light a bundle of wooden chopsticks resting on a plate from the cabin's kitchen. A small welcoming fire for Asuko's spirit. Since Asuko loved her drink, I also brought a can of beer from the fridge. Popping it open, I set it upside down on top of the gravestone and let the contents pour out. The thin, fluttering flame and its column of smoke are the signal beacon. The beer's the bait to make sure she doesn't hesitate to drop by. Oh my god. Close my eyes and press my hands together. A moment later, I can hear Makina do the same. Hey, Asuko. I'm still dragging my sorry hide around, trying to figure out why you kept me alive. No luck on that front. But even so, I think there are things I'm starting to understand, little by little. The things I can do, the things only I can do, the things I have to do, and the things I want to do. Tell me something, Asuko. Was this how it was for you as well? Did it start off as just a whim? Taking me in like that? Even so, did that small presence at your side end up becoming your reason to live? I'm starting to feel like I can understand now. Not that it's that complicated, really. You just saw a face one day. And somehow, you just vaguely knew it was the one thing in the world you needed to protect. Am I right? All of a sudden, you're telling yourself, now I get it. Maybe I've been living all this time, so I could be here for this. To protect this one thing. This is Irisu Makina. I speak out loud to the wavering flame, introducing Makina to Asuko's grave. See? Look at that. I found something I want to protect as well. Just as you had your doubts back then, I don't know yet if I'm making the right decisions. But I understand that things never go as smoothly as planned. Amane and I, currently playing the roles of Mommy and Daddy, probably do possess broader experience and knowledge than Makina. And we like to think that we understand her to some degree. But even so, I can't say with any confidence that the well-intentioned advice we give her is necessarily worthwhile. In separating the right from the wrong, there's only one decision that won't lead to regret. The one Makina makes herself. Right now, she says she wants to be a baker or a sniper. But whatever road she chooses to follow, the decision ultimately has to be up to her. You told me something about this once, right? If you want to choose the better path, listen carefully to the people who've walked the trail before you. As many of them as you can find. Fortunately enough, Makina's still very young. She'll have the chance to hear many people's thoughts, and I think she should actively seek them out. There's a limit to the amount of information any one human being can directly obtain. Don't get caught up with the things in front of your nose. Keep trying for the bigger picture perspective, and you won't go wrong too often. Right, Asuko? Hey, Makina. Want to say a little something to Asuko as well? Still clasping her hands together and keeping her eyes shut, Makina quietly opens her mouth to speak.
パパを育ててくれてありがとう
No, this is actually kind of cute. If it wasn't for you, I don't think Papa and I would have met. So thank you. Makina's softly mumbled words hit me harder than I'd expected. Masako, you moved on and left me behind. You did enough. You accomplished the job you were here to do. That's why you were allowed to die. I haven't earned that right yet, but I'll get there someday. I know I will. Think you can wait for me until then? The gravestone offers no reply to my silent question. I know perfectly well that this entire ceremony is nothing but a way for those left behind to find something like comfort. But I can still feel heat spreading behind my eyelids. Alright, I'm hungry. Wanna eat?
飯にしよう
Taking the plate in one hand as our small fire begins to gutter out, then seizing Makina's small hand in the other, I set off down the rough trail leading back to the cabin. As twilight gives way to darkness, I twist open the propane stopcock. Weird. Then leave the bathwater to heat as I begin preparing dinner. But of course, the fridge is a barren wasteland, and the vegetable garden out behind the shed has run wild with weeds. Our only viable provisions at the moment would be the stores of vacuum-packed instant rice and canned salmon piled up in the shed. Better than nothing. Can't manage much other than gruel or fried rice with this.
あとキッチンの流しの下からパスタが出てきたのよさ
You found pasta? Pasta? Ah, those are actually straight ramen noodles. Completely forgot we had that stuff. The packages Makina misidentified as pasta contain long strands of dried instant ramen noodles. We used to have these stashed all over the place, and the Hakata pork bone flavor in particular was one of Asuko's favorite foods. After a few beers, she'd almost always devour a bowl of ramen heaping with vegetables. That brings me back. Asuko used to make these for me all the time when she got drunk. Normally, you're supposed to boil these for 3 minutes, but Asuko opted for the 60-second stir-fry in a pan. She'd focus mainly on eating the toppings, picking out a well-simmering noodle every once in a while. Makina, have you tried these before? You haven't tried these before, have you? Wanna have some? That said, we got nothing in the way of toppings. Can't hope to imitate the Asuko-style tower of fried bean sprouts and cabbage doused in vegetable oil. Fortunately enough, we do discover dried chives and roasted sesame seeds under the sink. If not red pickled ginger or strips of pork. It's a little more than plain ramen. But in combination with the fried rice, we've at least got a somewhat respectable looking meal on our table 15 minutes later. Take it. Rather than dinner, it does seem a little more like an oversized midnight snack. But perhaps owing to Amane's strong anti-instant ideological leanings, Makina seems to find some novelty value in the meal. She gobbles down the ramen in a blink of an eye, repeatedly yelping, "Delicious." By the time we finish with this somewhat rough supper, the hour hand on the clock turns past 8. Returning to Mihama at this hour would be far too troublesome. And more than anything else, I'm concerned about the danger Makina might fall asleep on my back and slip right off. All things considered, it'd be clearly best to set up camp in the cabin for the night, then make our way back tomorrow morning. Her belly full, Makina already begun to mumble incoherently on the verge of sleep. I haul her to her feet and unceremoniously strip off her clothes. Do you have any clothes here? Oh. Okay. Then launch her into the bath with a kick to the rear, tossing her dirty outfit into the beat-up old washer-dryer just outside the bathroom door. You still awake in there? As I'm transferring her wet clothes to the dryer half of the machine, I call out to Makina for the third time in the last 10 minutes. The last thing I need is the girl falling asleep in the tub and drowning herself. If I strain my ears, I can make out the sound of Makina splashing around washing her body, as well as her cheerful rendition of Tuna Fish Man's theme song, which mainly involves yowling "Maguro Man fighting for justice," repeatedly in a jumble of English and Japanese. But seriously, is that ghastly human tuna hybrid really supposed to be a superhero? Just seeing the character without any context, I'm pretty sure I would have pegged him as a hideous monster of the week, rather than the protagonist. Then again, the world's a place of constant change. Maybe the children of the world have acquired a taste for the avant-garde in their Saturday morning entertainment? Either way, it seems I've still got a lot to learn. When Makina gets out of the bath, I wrap a white towel snugly around her head and twist it back and forth until her hair's dry. I'm just gonna confirm something for myself. Okay. That's the one I'm using. Right? Yes. Alright, now I know. Just in case. Then slip an old Oxford shirt from my days as a student in America onto her as a temporary substitute for her clothes. Naked, except for a long-sleeved man's dress shirt several times too large, Makina begins loosely bending her waist back and forth like a patient suffering amoebic dysentery. Oh my god, this man had fucking dysentery. She then coos "ooh la la" in a high-pitched tone. What the whatever. It's Makina. Am I surprised? No.
どう？私、セクシー？
Stop that. Alright, wait here. I'll get a dictionary so you can take a careful look at the definition of the word sexy.
ちっとぐれ納札されたふりしてくれてもバチは当たんないと思うのよ。
No. Whatever. Whatever my faults, I pride myself on my sincerity toward women. You mean just being an asshole in general? Yes, it would kill me. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, ugh. You're just wearing an oversized shirt. Whatever. In fact, it would be my demise. Oh my god. Yep. It's Grisaia, they're gonna make this shit. I think I'd be used to it by now, but no, clearly I am not. Before her bath, Makina's eyelids seem to have grown about as heavy as lead, but the hot water seems to have given her something of a second wind. It takes a little doing to get her crammed into bed. Although she nods off easily enough in the middle of the day, the girl also has a habit of refusing to fall asleep when you actually want her to. Normally, I could leave this to Amane, but that's obviously not an option today. Fortunately, no matter how much Makina grumbles about not being sleepy yet, when I forcibly scoop her up as she always ceases the struggle and wraps her arms around my neck. Okay, that's kind of cute. It's gonna wanna, but then just accepts it. Basically, the girl's just scared of going to bed alone. After that, it's a simple matter of depositing her in bed and holding her hand for 30 minutes or so until she falls asleep in earnest. When I lift Makina's small body in my arms, I'm struck by the scent of a familiar shampoo, mingling with the subtle feminine smell of her skin. Dude, stop sniffing people. Seriously, just stop. Stop sniffing people. That's just weird. It reminds me so strongly of Asako that I actually start a little in surprise.
ね、パパ。この前のお話の続きをして。
Which one was it telling you again?
パパがアメリカに住んでた頃の話で、友達と賭けをして180メートル先の標的に当てたってやつ。
What, again? I already told you that one 3 times today.
もう一回聞きたいよ。あと、みんなでハイキングに行った時の社会15センチの話も聞きたい。
You really like this stuff for some reason, don't you? I'm not sure why she finds this sort of thing so interesting, but Makina's burning to hear my stories lately. The flower pot, the cat, and the severed head. His name was Ryback. Unlucky Zippo. Where's the telephone? Atu Island. From among this fairly well-varied assortment of anecdotes, there's one in particular that's clearly become the girl's favorite. Specifically, 180 meters from scrubbing the John. Oh my god. Right. So, this was back when I was 14 years old, attending Uncle Sam's school in America. One day, I ended up making a bet with a classmate. I had been distinguishing myself as a sniper at the time, and this particular classmate kept coming at me with this stupid line. What's with the rifle specialty? Isn't your name Uzi? Kazumi. What? Okay, that's lame. That's lame. Not only did I not fight back, I didn't show the slightest sign of irritation at the stupid joke, which eventually pissed my classmate off pretty badly. They ended up challenging me to a bet, hoping to knock me down a peg. Yeah, that is... I definitely call that a trash pun. I was like, hey Brozard, how's it going? The bet itself was about as simple as they come. I had to land a shot on a can of tomatoes from 200 yards. It sounded pretty damn pointless, so I refused to play along at first. But when my classmate offered to take over a week's worth of laundry duty if I won, my perspective on the matter changed. After managing to bargain my way up to 3 shots, I ultimately accepted the bet. But there was one major problem. The rifle I had to use. At the time, I didn't have authorization to use anything but the small bore and its .22 caliber rounds. So inevitably, the gun I was using for this bet was just such a .22 LR bolt-action rifle. Normally speaking, you want to be firing a small-bore rifle at 25 to 50 meters. The bullet itself can travel a good 1,600, but the effective range normally maxes out at less than 100. Not only was I using this thing for a shot from 200 yards, or slightly over 182 meters, it was taking place outside where I'd have to deal with the wind. Felt like pretty shitty odds, but on the second round, I managed a solid hit. Naturally, that meant I was the winner of our bet, but unfortunately, one of the instructors found out I'd taken the rifle without permission. So, instead of a laundry-free week of leisure, I ended up ordered to scrub latrines until shit smelled like daisies. Oof. But apparently, the tomato can I shot is still enshrined in the school cafeteria, along with photographic evidence. I'm not trying to get nostalgic about my wild youth or whatever, but I can't help smiling a little wryly. More at my inability to tell Makina a halfway decent bedtime story than anything else. So here's the story of how I shot a tomato can and had to go scrub the shitters. What a story. Oh yeah, she's falling asleep. But when I finally snapped back to reality, I realized that Makina closed her eyes and begun mumbling in her sleep. The lengthy trip and weeding in the sun must have tired her out after all. Feeling more than a little relieved, I quietly leave the cabin with my cell phone in hand. Although there's a tower relatively close by, the signal is not particularly good inside the cabin itself. I walk off a little ways until the meter at the top of my screen displays 3 bars. Then call up the contact list and select Komine Sachi's name. After about 3 rings, she picks up the phone and instantly, not even bothering to say hello, begins hurling questions at me.
今どちらにおられるのです。先ほどから何度かお電話をさせていただいていたのですが。
Are we calling Sachi, by the way? Sorry. Reception's not so great out here.
帰りが遅いので、皆さん心配しておられます。何時頃にお戻りになられますか?
Right, about that. We're actually still in Yamanashi. Makina's already fallen asleep. So for tonight, we're gonna stay out here. Then head back tomorrow around noon.
お泊まりですね。
Sorry for the trouble, but would you mind looking after Makina's crayfish and apple seedling while we're away?
お泊まりですか?
Oh my god, Sachi! No? The signal's fine. I could hear you the first time. No need to repeat the question 20 decibels louder.
何? 今お泊まりって言ったわよね。どういうこと？ホテルに泊まるの?
Oh, great, it's Michiru.
そんで5物買い切るまで帰ってこないってこと？そうなの？そうなんだ。けだもの、ユージ。あんたけだものよ。
Oh my god. See? Now look what you've done. That noisy blonde's in full squawk.
すみません。少々お待ちいただけますか?
Not a problem, I guess. What the fuck did she just do? Huh? Hey, Sachi? What was that sound?
すみません、風見さん。少しみちる様には落ち着きを取り戻していただきましたので、何も問題はありません。
Did she crack a vase? I think she did. I think she cracked a vase over her head and knocked her out. Hi, honey. I see. Sorry for the hassle.
それで、ザリガニの世話とリンゴの苗ですね。
Yes, dog. That's right. We should be back tomorrow afternoon, so I doubt it'll be a problem, but I'd appreciate it if you just kept an eye on them.
かしこまりました。すべてはこの私にお任せください。 風見さんは安心して焦らずゆっくりとお気をつけてお戻りください。
Thanks. I'll make sure to bring you some Hoto and black honey rice cakes as a souvenir.
はい。それで、
What do you want now? What's up?
差し出がましいことを申すようで気が引けるのですが、否認だけはご注意をいただければと。
Oh my god. Oh, you fucking... Not to worry. I picked up a 24-pack of rubbers on the way over. Okay. Say psych right now. Say psych right now. It's a joke. Don't clam up on me.
はい。25回目に気をつけ
Oh,
てく
for
ださい。
fuck's sakes. I'm telling you, it was a joke. I'm not gonna do anything. In the first place, Makina's already asleep, remember?
寝ているところをズブリと。
Oh, for fuck's sakes. You're really determined about this, aren't you?
冗談です。風見流ジョークですね。
I'm gonna hang up now.
はい。では、お帰りを心からお待ちしております。おやすみなさいませ。
Night. What's going on with that girl? I feel like there's a lot more venom in her tongue lately. Her problem solving's definitely getting a little on the violent side. Also, poor Michiru getting a fucking vase to the face? God damn. Amane and Michiru seem to think it's entirely my fault, but I don't remember giving Sachi any orders to act like this. In fact, I make every effort to give her only strictly appropriate instructions. Come to think of it, there was that one incident the other day. I was telling Makina another of my stories, and paused to note the most efficient ways to help a panicked officer cadet regain presence of mind in a foxhole. Sachi, who would have been listening in, nodded with deep conviction and commented, "I see. In other words, blunt weapons are the best medicine for derangement." Oh my god. No. No, don't hit people. No. Don't, oh my god, don't hit people in the head with blunt objects. That's just gonna make things worse. Surely unrelated. Just another example of the female need to blame every problem on a man. Oh, for fuck's sake, stop. Fucking Yuji. This sort of unfounded generalizing is probably exactly the kind of thing that turns women against. Oh my god, stop talking right now. But it helps me regain the necessary composure to make my second call. I choose Amane's number and return the phone to my ear. A completely unfamiliar woman's voice answers the phone. Who the hell are you supposed to be? I pull the phone away from my ear and double-check the screen, but I'm definitely connected to the number marked Suo Amane. Yeah, it's me. Who the hell was that woman? You people aren't dabbling in hard drugs, are you?
電話なんかしてきて珍しい。どうしたの？何かあった？ユージ、愛してる。
Oh my god.
もううるさい。静かにしてってば。
Amane, my friend, I prescribe a dose of blunt weaponry to the head.
は？何言ってんの？ちょっと待って、今部屋出るから。
God. On the other side of the line, I hear the sound of Amane opening a door and a chorus of shrill voices hooting at her.
ごめん、お待たせ。どうしたの？急に私の声が聞きたくなったとか？
Can we just not with this straight now? He's just gonna say I'm here in Yamanashi overnight. Oh, fucking... Yeah, that's right. I just had to hear that voice of yours, so I couldn't help giving you a call. Did I make a nuisance of myself?
そんなことはないけど。
I see. Alright then, enough joking around. Let's get to the main topic. Here's the thing, Amane. Maki and I are currently in Yamanashi.
はい？なんで山梨？あ、そっか、お墓参り？
That's right. Came up with the idea pretty suddenly after we saw you off this morning. I borrowed your Bobotaro for the trip.
あ、ボバ太郎ちゃんと動いた？
Yeah. You've been having trouble with the engine suddenly dying on you at random times, right? The CDI is probably the issue.
CDI って言われても、私にはわかんないけど。
You're riding a hot rod, and you don't even know that much?
だって改造したの私じゃないもの。っていうか、あの状態でバイク屋さんから買ったのよ。
What kind of store would sell a ridiculous lowrider like that?
16の時に免許取って、なんかいいのないかなって近所のバイク屋さんに行ったら。
And you bought the most heavily customized thing that was there. You do you, Amane. You do you.
ちょうどそのお店の店員さんが大型に乗り換えるって話でね。前に乗ってたやつを安く売ってくれるって言うから、何も考えないで買っちゃったのよね。でもまあ、原因が分かってよかったわ。なんか信号待ちしてる時とか、突然ストンと止まっちゃって、30分くらい冷まさないとエンジンがかかんないから困ってたのよ。
The wiring inside the CDI is probably swelling from the heat, disconnecting it temporarily.
なるほどね。修理したらいくらぐらいかかるのかな。
I'm not a motorcycle mechanic. I can't tell you that much.
ま、いいわ。ボバ太郎は貸してあげるから、気をつけて乗るのよ。
Yeah, understood. I won't do anything stupid.
マキナはどうしてるの？ちゃんとご飯食べてる？
Let's see. For lunch, we had cinnamon rolls and pumpkin bread Makina baked. Dinner was ramen and fried rice.
ちょっと、全然野菜を食べてないじゃない。約束と違うじゃないのよ。
Sorry. I'll make sure to feed her something green tomorrow.
きっとよ。なんか不安だな。朝昼晩とちゃんと食べさせて、夜の8時以降は何も食べさせちゃダメよ。
What? Is she some kind of magical gremlin? Well, whatever. I'll be careful. If anything does come up, you'll be the first to know.
わかった。それじゃあ気をつけて帰るのよ。マキナに怪我させないでね。
Understood. Alright then. Good night.
おやすみ。ちゃんと私の夢を見るのよ。
Oh my god. Spare me. I get enough lectures in my waking hours. For some reason, my dreams are always nightmares. Alright then, that just leaves... I scroll down to JB's name on my phone contact list, then press the call button. I have to say though, I'm a man of many callers. The trip itinerary I submitted to JB earlier didn't include any reference to staying the night away from my post. Of course, my employer's probably aware that I'm still in Yamanashi. I'd be very surprised if they hadn't been tracking the GPS on my other cell phone this entire time. Still, that doesn't mean I can get away with completely blowing off the formalities. Even if I do get in touch, it's easy to picture that shaggy-headed blonde griping and scolding at me again. But if I take the initiative to call instead of making her do it, the voltage of her lightning bolts should decrease slightly. Well, that's never a good thing. What's this? You burning the midnight oil over there? Kazumi Yuji and Irisu Makina. Status normal. My current location is Asiko's cabin in Yamanashi. Scheduled return to post by 1200 hours tomorrow. End of message. After recording this extremely concise summary of the necessary information, I'm just on the verge of hanging up when I reflexively hesitate. After a moment's pause, I return the receiver to my mouth once more. Night, Julia. The hour being what it is, recording a little extra in the way of pleasantries shouldn't cause any issues. My message complete, I hang up and finally snap the phone shut. As I slide the cell phone back into my pocket, a sigh spills unprompted from my mouth. In the isolated mountain night, the only sounds are the rustling of the trees in the wind and the chirping of insects reveling in summer. I'm waiting for this scene to be over because I want to end stream. I'm just waiting for this to go and go, but it keeps continuing. Like, god damn! I don't mind not hearing people or their machines in the least. The bugs are fairly noisy in their own right. That said, it just makes you feel anxious when things get too quiet. Human beings are hard to please. Hearing nothing but the sounds you make yourself is a genuinely terrifying thing. There was a time, years ago, when I woke up half buried under a pile of soil and sand. Better still, I couldn't remember how I'd come to be there. I must have stayed there for a good 3 minutes before finally recalling that a field artillery shell had landed nearby. Pushed away violently by the man behind me, I'd fallen roughly into my foxhole as dirt rained down. When I crawled up out of the hole, I noticed that my eardrums were malfunctioning badly. I couldn't hear a thing other than a high-pitched ringing sound. It was the middle of the night, so my field of vision was just as poor. The small slivers of moonlight trickled through the trees above weren't enough to make out any movement around me. The fear that had been swirling around my gut became a cold dread creeping slowly up my spine. It felt like I might be the only person on Earth, as if I'd been left behind on a dead and empty husk of a world. The night can be very dark sometimes. When I'm facing it alone, I always remember that moment. Asiko. Looking up into the side, I hear her name slip out of my mouth. Just how long am I planning to drag her memory around like a ball and chain? It's not like Asako wanted that herself. She told me flat out, didn't she? If I die, forget about me within a year. It's been a year and a half. I should have forgotten her completely by now. I promised I would. That's hard, Asako. Being alone. Stop sniveling and grow a pair. You have someone to protect now yourself now, don't you? I can almost hear the words, feel the slap upside my head. But she's no longer here to deliver them. Damn. 11:25. Oh yeah, right before 1200 hours. Good job. Oh, we went through 2 whole scenes. No wonder that took so long. I'll take it. Swap over. Alright. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So yeah, that went a little longer than I expected, but yeah, that's okay. I got a little bit more of the game done, which I will gladly take. The more of this I can finish, the better. So, tonight, at least so far, still, we should be on for Zeus, Master of Olympus. So we'll go back to it. Hopefully I can get past that point that got me stuck. If not, I can always start a different map, like a different campaign, which is fine. I know how to play the game now, more or less. And then again, tomorrow at 10 a.m. will be my birthday special stream. 2 days before my actual birthday, but it's the only real good day I have ahead of time that I can stream. And we'll be doing a Pokemon randomizer. Because that's something I've always wanted to do. After really seeing people do them a lot. I mean, I've seen people do randomizer Nuzlocks, randomizer Soul Locks. Hi, honey, I see you back there. I figured I'd give a randomizer a try. We did the Nuzlocke. We did some of a Nuzlocke last year, but let's try something different this time. I'll probably even do a completely different Pokemon game. Maybe like Heart Gold. Like Leaf Green or Fire Red. Well, yeah, I was playing Yellow, so I'm essentially playing the same game. It's not the same game. It's a little more current ish. I mean, Pokemon have abilities now. That's a thing. Which I believe with the randomizer I'm going to use, it can make that happen. Like, they actually have different abilities entirely. Different movesets. Again, I could start this whole fucking game and be having a Magikarp. But with my luck, it'll be a level 3 Magikarp that knows Hyper Beam. So it's like, alright, cool. I'll just win. I think it's got like, what is it? Base 150 attack? Oh, hell yeah, I was right. It has base 150. It's strong as shit. But, you know, he needs a recharge. Use it, and then I gotta spend a turn recharging. That's the downside of it. It's a base 150, the strongest fuck move. But I gotta wait every other turn to actually use the damn thing. Except in Gen 1, because of a glitch. If you Hyper Beam something and killed it, guess what? Recharge doesn't matter. You can use it immediately, so it's great for being able to plow through some battles. Just one-shot everything, and you never have to worry about recharge. But that was Gen 1 only. After that, no matter what, you had to recharge after. Goddamn game mechanics. But, anyhow, thanks everyone, for watching, commenting, and lurking. I appreciate it very, very much. So give me a sec, see if there's anybody I can throw this to on my list. Not really. That's okay. Maybe next time. So, I hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.